Okay. Hello, everyone. My name is Elihu, and we are going to have a talk about Midi and Pluto. So it will be a very interesting talk, I hope. So, well, I'm kind of, I work with a software engineer, and I like to do music with code in my free time. So I'm going to decontextualize some tools that are made for data science and scientific computing, but we're going to do crazy stuff with with music and sound and images. So okay, let's get started. What is MIDI? MIDI it's a communications protocol. It's used mainly to describe notes, note duration, and velocity that it determines how loud a note sounds. So MIDI, it's a very interesting protocol. There are a lot of new stuff out there, like OSC, that it's based on another standard and it's using UDP to communicate to other instruments. But mainly MIDI is used to communicate within physical instruments. So I have quite a lot of stuff here in my studio. And we're going to use that for that talk. So, well, let's talk about creative coding. Yeah, creative coding is, I have some stuff running in the background that I'm going to mute. 1 minute. Oh my God. Okay. Ready. Okay, so well, creative coding. Yeah, it's like doing crazy stuff with with programming languages. The idea is to use more like a expressive tool more than a functional. Yeah, and mainly it's with aesthetic or artistic intent. So we are trying to explore things, concepts that are not widely used in regular programming. So we're going to make some crazy stuff. The tools that I'm going to use is a new tech, do-it-yourself synthesizer, a very small, like a card size synthesizer. It sounds like this. I hope that you can hear that. And I'm using a launch key MIDI controller. It's a small keyboard that has a nice arpeggiator to do our stuff. So, well, one of the interesting stuff in Pluto is that it uses JavaScript to make magic. So, in this demo, I'm going to use a heavy use of JavaScript. So we have the web MIDI standard. It's quite tricky to use it. I had a lot of hard time doing that. So basically, I am pushing my hardware messages into a two-dimensional array, one for note events and one for velocity, that it's how loud our sound is going to be. And with that array, I'm going to plot it using plots. I think plots is a great tool, very simple. And instead of another creative coding frameworks like processing or processing for web, I think that using a scientific notebook, it's great. It let us making a unique approach to MIDI and to music, and I think it's very nice. So I'm going to play some notes here, and you can see how the array is updated in real time. We have that notes. Remember, MIDI has a range of 0 to 127 bytes, I think. So we have this array for velocity, that's how loud. If the sound is low, the numbers are low also. If it's a hard sound, the numbers are going up. So I'm using a simple plot script to draw things on the screen. I removed the y and an x-axis, and we can see how is the behavior of our plot. Yeah, I added some colors and played with the color palettes to make it some interesting stuff. I have a very simple plot and scatter plot also to map the velocities. The velocities are these points isolated on the screen. And also, if the nodes are how I can say that, are like that, are in an octave up, you can see how the color changes. If they are in the base range, you can see how the color also changes, and also the height of the plots. You can see that. You can see how as I play, how the stuff changes in the screen. Yeah, it's pretty nice. We can do something like yeah, that's pretty crazy. But let's go to the code. It's only a simple plot. We have a lot of abusing of the parameters of that function, of that plot function. We can make it that is interesting to change it to a polar projection. We can make this. Polar is always interesting, you know. Yeah, it changes and it looks different and more interesting. We can change the size of our plot by adding some generative stuff, like adding randomness. We can have we can use the y axis size to make interesting stuff like that. I think it was too much. We can change it here. Yep. Now it looks nice. Yeah, and we can add some elements using also generative stuff like randomness. I'm going to add a random string to make it more conceptual. I don't know. Oops. Okay, I'm going to zoom it. You can. Yeah, and we can play with a lot of parameters like the alpha, the transparency of our plot. We can do a lot of things. This plot I made it quite a few minutes to. I want to show it you live, but there's a lot of things that I have to to check, and I think it's pretty interesting how we can use these kind of tools to make creative stuff. For example, I'm going to play some the launch Midi arpeggiator. And yeah, it's running very, and also it's running very smooth. The first time that I tried this, I thought that it will be pretty slow, but now it's very fast. I like that. I also made some experiments with audio and other stuff in real time. So what's next? This is a very simple experiment, but I pushed that forward to make another stuff. I'm going to talk about Midi topologies. visualizing notes and loudness. It's fun, but we can go in further. Synthesizers and physical instruments have a lot of knobs, a lot of buttons, a lot of stuff. This simple synthesizer has a lot of buttons here, 3 knobs, and you can parameterize that with MIDI. So we can use a matrix to map all these buttons, all these parameters, and create a kind of topology, a kind of grid that we can manipulate, that we can change presets in real time for a lot of synths, a lot of hardware synths. And I think that's pretty interesting. Also, I'm trying to do it in live coding fashion way. Live coding is like making music with code live, and I think the reactivity of Pluto led us to make that stuff happen in the notebook itself. It's more like we are trying to convert a notebook into a musical MIDI framework, and that's fun. So I'm going to show you some experiments. I have some videos that it will be nice that you see how we can push that concepts further. So I'm going to share it right now. Okay. I'm going to stop on that. I'm going to share a video. Yeah, I hope the audio is working. I'm using my Instagram feed because I have a new computer and I don't have all that videos in my hard drive. But it would be nice to watch that stuff. Talking about Midi topologies. It's pretty hard to make them run on Pluto because it's a 3D plot, and sometimes it's very laggy like that. I have a setup of a lot of, and I can change the presets using a 3D grid like that. Also, I use another software, musical software like Pure Data, to interface the notebook to my instruments. I have some stuff running here, also about Midi topologies. Each point in that 3D grid, it's a musical note, a parameter, and the loudness of that note. So we can have running automatically a lot of complex stuff and making more interesting music than just playing simple notes. We have also we can have live audio, and I have some. I used that multi-plot stuff to using random data from generated from Julia to create random music and visualize it. You know that it's a 4x4 array, a matrix, and we can do a lot of interesting stuff with that. I think it has a unique aesthetic, and that's what I'm doing. And I thought that it would be nice to share that kind of stuff with you. That we can push the limits of this tool to its limits, and let's see what happens. Here I'm using a heat map to map my all the music that is generated by my hardware. And yeah, I think that we have a lot of possibilities. I have a lot of stuff. Also not with Pluto, but mainly with Julia, with pure Julia on the terminal, like printing patterns, printing matrices, and I think that Julia is a great language for that processing. And oops, And I think that's all. That's all. I'm pretty nervous because this is live, but that's all. Thank you very much.
Oh my God, thank you. That was amazing. I cannot believe that I just watched a live concert and like visualizations done in Pluto. Really incredible. And like I also felt a bit nervous watching it because I was like, oh no, is Pluto fast enough for this stuff? But apparently it
Yeah, it is
works.
fast enough. I think if you watch a delay on the plots, it's because my internet, not the Pluto, not Pluto itself.
Yeah.
It's a network issue.
And so have you also experimented with generating music from Pluto? I didn't quite get that.
Yeah, it's pretty hard to connect. I how can I explain that? We have one way with Pluto, JavaScript to Julia
Right,
in
yeah.
Pluto, but the other way it's kind of hard.
Yeah.
I have to use native MIDI libraries for Julia to do that. I don't know how to do that process in reverse. I had to implement things like temporal recursion. Temporal recursion is like a function that repeats itself through time, and that it's and you can edit the code live, and the function updates itself. I can do that in Pluto. I don't know how to do that. I tried, but it crashed. But I think it's a pretty good, a pretty cool framework. I try to do that in Jupyter also, but Python sometimes is pretty hard to grasp. And the Julia syntax is very friendly, and also my first approach with Pluto was in the Julia Academy site. I made that a course of COVID data, and I think that course was in Jupyter, and I tried to do that in Pluto, and it was nice. It was an experiment, and I like it a lot. And I think I'm going to do that stuff, the music that I made inside a notebook. I use a lot of frameworks like processing, and that more suitable for that kind of stuff. But I was like, I'm going to try that. I'm going to use a notebook to create music, visualize it, and maybe in the future a live concert using a notebook like visuals, as some kind of data rave. I don't know.
Really cool. Yeah. So you talked about Julia Academy, and I worked with processing in the context of education. And so, what do you think about using this, like MIDI and Pluto, for education?
I don't know. Yeah, I think it will be great. We need to work to round the edges of MIDI in the browser.
Yeah.
I didn't upload a demo notebook because it crashes if you don't have a MIDI device in your computer.
Yeah.
So I think it would be. I think it will be not good for the users, and not all people have access to MIDI device, not or to hardware synthesizers. Yeah, but I think working with audio in Pluto, I think it's the best approach. Almost every computer has a microphone, an audio input, and you can do the same with audio. I use MIDI because I love synths. I had a lot of synths, but you can do the same stuff with audio, with pure audio, and that's cool.
Super exciting. Well, I would love to talk more with you. Panayoti, Connor, any questions from your side?
So I have one. So you capture the data from the MIDI and then you plot it. Could you also process it and add it like a reverb? So I guess the data comes in from the microphone and out from the speakers. So
now,
can you overlay something? I don't know. I'm not sure.
Okay, I think that reverb is just for audio. MIDI is just data. MIDI doesn't represent audio or just notes, just events in time. But using Pluto as an audio processing tool, it will be interesting. I think it's possible. You can, at the end of the day, audio, it's just a one-dimensional array in most of the cases. There are a lot of it's a very big array, a very big buffer of data, and you can use that as we see in the computational thinking course with images. That convolution stuff and that edge detection stuff. I think we can do that with audio, with pure audio. I think it is possible to do that. It will be awesome to do that. Like, let's add some reverb to some speech.
Exactly. That's what I was thinking.
Let's add some delay and let's use that Pluto UI buttons to change that stuff in real time. I think it will be pretty nice for a lot of people that it's a big area, the audio processing area. I think most of the media hype is on images, on video processing, but I think the audio, and we can try some crazy stuff like fake audio, like deep learning, using deep learning to audio and to modify speech in real time. What will be very nice.
Yeah, let's do this. Let's do this next week.
Let's do this. Okay.
Cool. Okay, I think we should go on to the next talk. Thank you again for joining us.
Thank you very much.
Thank
All right,
you.
let's go to the next one.
See you.
Okay.